Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fox Can Fix It. Alright, this time we are back on the 81 CJ5. It's running well, and I've got exhaust on it. And now that I've got exhaust on it, I can hear there is definitely still a lifter tick on the driver's side, which means that when I adjusted them cold on this engine stand, they're not perfect. It happens. So today, we're going to adjust it with the engine running and get rid of all the lifter tick. Now, everybody knows that you can take a valve cover off and adjust these valves with the engine running. However, usually it makes a giant mess. What happens is those push rods, which are hollow, push the oil up through the rock arms, and they don't shoot straight out at the camera, but they dribble and they get all over this exhaust manifold. They get all over the outside of this cylinder head, and there's just oil and smoke everywhere. We don't need that. I've got a spare valve cover. Let's cut one open and make a tool. And the idea here is to basically cut out this entire center section right here that Chevy conveniently has embossed for us, which gives us a good line to go off of even when our marker fails us like it just did. So if we cut this out, what we should basically have access to is all the rocker arm nuts with this bolted in place, and that will keep the oil from spilling out onto exhaust manifolds. Okay, let's get to cutting. There we go. Now we got a valve cover with a sunroof. Now what we gotta do is pull our good valve cover and swap it out for our convertible or sunroof valve cover. I guess if it was a Ford valve cover, it'd now be a Sunliner or a Skyliner. Not sure which. I can't remember which one was convertible and which one was the big glass top. I'm sure somebody in the comments is gonna know the answer to that one, but I can't remember. So, one of the two. Now we do want to keep the gasket there because we're gonna need that. That's gonna help keep the oil from going anywhere. You can see what I'm talking about here, so I try not to electrocute myself because I forgot to unhook the battery, that with this valve cover installed, we can get to all the rocker arm nuts, and we are allegedly not going to throw oil everywhere. It's at least going to be less oil, okay? So let's get this thing bolted on. We'll get it started up, and we'll adjust some rocker arms. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a stethoscope or a screwdriver and just figure out which one is the noisy one. All right, it seems it is just this number one cylinder. So what we're going to do is we're going to back it off until it makes more noise, and then we'll tighten it until the noise goes away, and then we'll go a quarter turn. As you can see, this isn't a perfect setup. I'm still getting oil everywhere. However, it's less. There we go. That is definitely more noise out of that exhaust. Okay, now a half turn. There we go. And now we'll do the intake. All right, that is definitely noisy now. Go slowly until the noise goes away. There we go. And now we'll go a quarter turn. There you go. That's how you can adjust rocker arms with the engine running on a small block Chevy. It's not really all that difficult. Same process as with the engine off. However, you've got the additional rocker arms there making noise to help you decide what needs to be done. Now with the open valve cover, you're still going to hear the valve train noise, but trust me, that's pretty well adjusted. My only concern here is that this lifter only intermittently oils. As you can see right now, a lot of oil, little oil, oh, the oil's back. I think there also might be a weak lifter, even though I just bought them. I hope not, but it kind of looks like the case. So that's all there is to it. And I gotta tell you, the convertible valve cover idea sort of works, but you still get oil everywhere. Now we know that we probably have a bad lifter from the factory, or we have a pushrod tube that's partially blocked. I guess it could go either way, but I'm kind of leaning towards a bad lifter. It is what it is. I think it's okay for now. It's not really going to hurt anything that it hasn't already hurt. So let's take this for a test drive, because this is probably the last nice day we're going to have before it drops back into the 30s. Well, so far, the turn signal's packed up and decided not to work. There's a big rattle in the back. Turned out that I left a 2x12 in the back, and that's rattling around on the bed, so we'll just ignore that. Okay. It does accelerate pretty good, and I'm just not even into the floor bells. Oh yeah. No, that makes it very squirrely, just like a Jeep. Oh, that's way too far forward. Beep, 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 beep. There we go. All right. So we made an adjustment on the rocker arms today with it running, and discovered that we may have a weak lifter from the factory. And I think pulling in here, you can probably still hear that weak lifter, which is somewhat disappointing. But I'm going to live with it for now, and what we'll do is we will change the oil and hope that maybe there's debris in the lifter that we can flush it out. I don't know. It might work itself out if it is debris, which is possible. I didn't take the block to the machine shop, so it could be a thing. I'm not going to pull the intake and put another lifter in there yet, only to have that go bad. So, is what it is. I showed you how to adjust them. It didn't do much good because of a possible lifter issue, but we also got in a first test drive. It drove okay, accelerates okay, stops okay. Steering is still terrible. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Somewhat disappointing. However, the test drive, we didn't die. So, since we didn't die, I guess I'll see you next time.